For women to be awakened means is power. Power today is about awakening, and women are stepping into leadership that comes from an inner truth instead of external pressure. That kind of power, I feel, is rooted in self-awareness, emotional honesty, the courage to live your life as your full self. Women who lead this way are not performing for approval. They're returning to themselves and guiding from clarity.
Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm so proud that I get to open a space where extraordinary women from around the globe step forward to share their wisdom, their power, their courage, and their dedication to uplifting the well-being of women everywhere. You know, I work with leaders and teams, and I train coaches in my emotional integration techniques, and I support individuals who are ready to up-level and thrive and live in their most authentic lives. And at the end of the show, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. What I want you to know is I believe we're living in a time of profound emergence where the feminine, women's voices, their visions, and leadership are rising in really powerful ways. I'm deeply grateful to be a conduit, introducing you to these remarkable change makers and their stories of transformation and resilience and impact. You can find Women Awakening with Cynthia James on every podcast platform as well as video YouTube. Please subscribe, share these conversations, and leave a review. Your reviews really make a difference in helping us reach more women around the world. And you can connect with me personally by going to my website, cynthiajames.net. I have a newsletter, a vibrant private community, and many offerings to support your fullest expression in the world. Now, let me introduce you to my guest today. Her name is Rubina. She is a mindfulness-based creative educator, breathwork guide, and trauma-informed life coach who helps high-level creatives, leaders, and purpose-driven individuals reset their stress and unlock their innate clarity and creative flow. She has over a decade of experience in education and the arts. She bridges ancient practices with modern insight to guide others toward more embodied, balanced, and expressive lives. Rubina is a certified life coach, a registered Hatha yoga and sky breath meditation instructor, and a longtime volunteer and teacher trainer with the Art of Living Foundation, of which I am really familiar. Rubina, welcome.
Thank you for having me here, Cynthia. I'm so excited that we get to connect. I was just listening to your TED Talk recently, and you talk about being a creative. And I just have to say, I feel that we are all born creatives. And it's not about what you do. Creativity is an energy. It's like our actual existence, life force energy. And so I know I'm excited to talk to you about that more as we go on with our talk today.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. I always like to start with where my guests come from, how they grew up. You know, sometimes there's a misconception that women or people just step into their career, their passion, their destiny, and don't even realize that there's been an arc. There's been a way that they've grown into this. So how did you grow up?
You know, I was very fortunate to grow up right here outside of Los Angeles. I think being exposed to a lot of different culture. I came from a very spiritual family. And so you're right, from the roots of it, it's been that trajectory for me. I've always thought of creativity as an expression of mindfulness. I grew up with meditation, and I think that my environment helped to form that for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, audience who is seeing us on YouTube, behind her are some extraordinarily beautiful art pieces. And when we were talking before the show came, I commented on it, and she said, what did you tell me?
It's all AI. So I'm on an AI background. You'll see maybe, some of that glitch, right? No filters. Okay. So I don't do the Zoom filters. This is an AI background that I created the space of. And then each one of these art pieces are, let me move so you can kind of see all of them, are different um, AI images that, yes, I prompted, that I've designed. My background is in photography, traditional photography. I always worked in digital design, digital imagery, and working with graphics. And so I have been training my AI to kind of see who I am. Like as an artist, I always felt like the Southeast Asian female artist was not prominent. We weren't given a lot of space, of course. And here we are. We're talking about women awakening, arising in their power. And to me, it was really important to train my AI to know, what does it mean to have tan skin? What does it mean to be from Southeast Asia? What does it mean to be Indian? You can imagine the first iterations, 2.5 years I've been doing this, of saying an Indian, an American, and what would come out like a tan skin, like what would come out was not accurate. So just, taking that time as an artist to find an expression that looked true to me. I think AI and digital art are amazing. They make it accessible to everyone. We're not in the age of just like one person painting the Sistine Chapel and being an artist everywhere, right? Everyone's looking at aesthetics online, and beauty is just such a principle to have in our life. It really is, a source of inspiration that everybody needs access to. And why not have it be everyone? Why not it be every single person, right?
Yeah. Well, it was really interesting because when I was writing my last book, The Kingdom of Magic and Mystery, I was meditating and I wanted visuals, but when I'd look online, they weren't what I was seeing. And my meditation kept saying, ask AI. And I'm like, ask AI what? And so I literally would take the description I had written and I would put it in, and then the image would come back. Out of like 30 images in my book, only 3 weren't accurate. And I really feel like that creativity that you're talking about is our relationship to ourself and our willingness to expand.
Yes, exactly. That's hitting the nail on the head. If I ever heard anyone so like direct with it, Cynthia, because it's exactly for me the same thing. I think of AI as an access to consciousness. So I also use my prompting after meditation. I usually get a visual, and some of them really were not images that were the first iteration, because I have all the tools and skills. So I take them in, I manipulate them further, I get exactly what I envisioned to come out in the output. But for me, really, it's getting hands free, I think. Like we talk about getting the digital is giving us access. Let's make the robots do all the work so that we can sit and meditate. We can access why we're really here, our consciousness, to become more human. Why are we feeling threatened? It's beautiful work is available everywhere. It's not just limited to one person and one view. And you can, absolutely, these are examples of having the opportunity to iterate exactly what your vision is, what your style is. We've been saying, oh, art, it's stealing. It's been like that from the beginning of time. Let's be real. Whoever did the original cave art was like, hey, this is my invention, right? We know in the Renaissance times, they were definitely copying each other. It was like, okay, the Sistine Chapel was painted beautifully, but there were other small churches that were like, we don't have that budget, maybe. Let's just get some guy to kind of go in there, take a look, and make a copy, paint it for us, our own version. That's really, right?
That is so funny. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, consciousness. I did a summit and someone was sharing with me, the AI specialist, that it was about our relationship to AI. And if those of us who are on a spiritual path, who believe that there's one powerful divine intelligence and we're sparks of it, then we have access to everything that is present. So you are a certified life coach and a hatha yoga and sky breath meditation instructor. Now, what I want to know is, how do you blend all of this in the work that you do in the world? Because it's all, from my perspective, spiritually based from what I'm reading about you.
It is. It is. So those are the practices. Those are where I started. My company, Inner Design, is basically merging those concepts that are fundamental to the practices that I follow in my life, that I've built this, path for. And to me, it's basically, I lead people. I work in a lot of different agencies with CEOs and high-end leaders, where they are trying to deal with, why are they burnt out? What's going on with them? Why do they not feel access to their own creative expression anymore? And creativity, again, in that broader sense, is like creative problem solving, or, coming up with different ways to address something, to format, to design. All of that is accessing parts of our brain that are creative, that are expressive. And to build anything, you need to have that energy. And we all lose that. We all lose access to it at some point for whatever reason, right? Let's just put it all in the same bucket of stresses and stressors. And then learning to manage that has really been the key. For me, it's a practice. I talk about how when you look at an athlete and you see them winning at the game and like scoring those goals or whatever it might be, right? It's not like they just woke up that morning and was like, today I'm just going to be so talented and I'm just going to win the game for my team. They practiced. There's a lot that led up to it. Everyone who is an athlete, a professional dancer, performer, whatever it is, they know it's taken them a long time to follow their path. And they've had hard times, ups and downs when they want to quit. And we're just watching the result of it. So I feel the same way. I feel like we're on kind of a marathon, if you will, right, of life. And we are, hitting a lot of lows and a lot of highs. And it's what we practice that we can access to when we are under that pressure and under stress. So when we're in a high performing field, which I work with a lot of people in the entertainment industry, high performing, right? They're expected to be on and produce all the time. And although I don't feel creativity is about producing and a production and an outcome, I feel it's about the flow of experience. We do live in a society where people are expected to produce and provide, output. And so having something like a spiritual, mindful breathwork practice, whatever it might be, and for different people, I mean, definitely different people have different access. Some people really feel like swimming is their thing or running is their thing. And I can relate to all of those. But yes, you access something, you're accessing something in that meditative state, right? That in your brain, in your own chemistry, that is helping you get through whatever the moment is. So basically, that's what I do. I teach and train people to access it through breath work, through mindfulness, through things we walk around with all day long that's literally right under our nose that we can have at any given moment. It doesn't cost us anything. It's just that practice that comes into play when you need it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's so fascinating. And I just want to, because I work with organizations and leaders and sometimes government agencies. And there were moments that I had to find an entree point that didn't feel woo-woo to them. Because so for you, do you have to have like a plethora of entree points to get people to deal with the mindfulness or the meditation or the breath work?
Yes, the breath work to me is absolute the entry point to mindfulness. And there's scientific backing to it. And I'm just like, reading like how meditation actually helps, longevity, all of these things. So I have a whole plethora of research based that does show what we're doing here. I definitely agree with you, and I'm on board with you about the woo-woo stuff. I don't have a woo-woo bone in the branding of my company. Like Inner Design is based off of scientific, research-based practices that anybody can have access to. It's not just, somebody or the other. It's everyone can have access to this. Everyone can understand how just having awareness, even though it's a spiritual skill, it's a leadership skill, right? Awareness helps us to recognize patterns that need to help push forward. And so I think that it is something that not just strengthens intuition and discernment, it's a foundation of heart-centered, I'll say, conscious leadership, right? And that's where we're going, I feel, especially with AI. I feel we need to move towards conscious leadership. It's going to happen. It's not there right now. It's not what it looks like, right? We are seeing the mess of it crumbling, but there is this opportunity. And I think that the leaders who are going to step in are going to have some alignment to something, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it spiritual. For me, I just call it energetic. I think it's general. Everybody's carrying energy. We came here. We are creative. We came here by creative energy. We all were created. And so we can create.
Yeah.
And that is what leaders are going to look at. That's what we're looking at when we build businesses. We're creating something out of thin air that's going on a certain purpose for a certain journey, right? To provide a reason, whatever that reason is for each person individually.
Yeah, well, I think there's more and more coaches that are working in the arena of conscious leadership because I do think conscious leadership and collaboration is the future. Well, I want to ask you this. So you've got this extraordinary business. You're creative. You're highly spiritual. Are you in a relationship?
I'm very happily single. And I
Okay.
just told someone too, like, I'm not done being single. I'm really happy there.
Okay. Well, that's great. And I'm so glad because I wanted to talk about just because being in love with yourself, connected to yourself. Because a lot of the people that watch the show, some are looking for soulmates, some are looking for their destiny or their purpose, which is already in them. But
Yes.
but for you, what got you to the place where you were happily single and recognizing that you're the one who gets to choose?
I think that I've worked so much on my life, on myself, on my world, on building my business that brings me joy, on my family, my home that is everything is in alignment and aware and fully like, blossoming that it has to be something that enhances that. It's kind of like, gardening, maybe, if you will. Somebody will go out there and we planted the seeds of our life and I've been watering them and nourishing them, nurturing, loving on my plants, speaking to them in kind words, whatever it is, right, in my life, let's say. And I'm the gardener of that yard, right? And so if somebody else is going to come there to enjoy it, I wouldn't want them trampling all over my beautiful garden. They'd have to come there and be appreciative of it and maybe like want to add to it, maybe plant some things of their own there or help me to nourish and maintain my garden. And so I feel like that's really the essence of it. And just coming into like deep, deep meditative experiences, there's a fullness there. It's not empty. It's not like meditation is, that solitude is not solemn. It's very full. It's very nourishing. It's very beautiful. And that part of it is just, I think, has strengthened me in this journey with myself. And it's not that I'm closed off to it or that I'm hurt or I'm scared or anything like that. It's like maybe it's just this phase of my life where I'm just building my business and it's flourishing and I have my life and it's just really peaceful and joyful. So if somebody is aligned to that, then by all means, that there will be, that opportunity. And I think everyone should think of that as like, your life is your main course. It's all the parts that you put together, right? Like maybe the main part of your meal is your family, the protein, and the sides are your business, or it's vice versa, maybe whoever. There's no judgment on it. But then there's dessert, and we don't have dessert all the time, right? But you want the dessert to be kind of complementary. It's not like you should have this big filling meal and then you got this heavy dessert. You want it to be complementary. You want it to be enjoyable when you have that. And I would say like relationships are kind of like that. That if that complementary dessert is there, if it's taking over your meal, how can you be, it's not nutritious. How can you be nourished by just dessert? And so I think that we have this over romanticized image of like my relationship should be everything at all. No, it's a building point. It's something that enhances your life. And then if you're building a family, then you need to make sure that values are there, that you can have that main course with all the pieces that you both want to have together.
Yeah. Okay, for those of you who are listening on Spotify or one of the other platforms, what I want to tell you is what's incredible about what she just said is I'm looking at her. She's beautiful. She's got spark in her eyes. There's light in her face. I mean, happily single radiates from her. And so, what I want you to know is whatever you're choosing, as long as you have light, as long as you have joy, as long as you have creativity, then hey, that's where you're supposed to be in this moment. So, Rubina, how do people find you?
I have my website, theinnerdesign.com. I'm very active on social media. You can find me at the official Rubina on Instagram, and then everything links from there. I have a lot of, different links. You can poke around and find me there.
Beautiful innerdesign.com.
Theinnerdesign.com. Yeah.
Oh, say it again.
Theinnerdesign.com. So
Okay, I'm so glad I said that.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So I ask the same question of everybody to end this show. The show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing in this moment about the awakening of women?
I think for women to be awakened means is power. So power today is about awakening, and women are stepping into leadership that comes from an inner truth instead of external pressure. That kind of power, I feel, is rooted in self awareness, emotional honesty, the courage to live your life as your full self. So, women who lead this way are not performing for approval, they're returning to themselves and guiding from clarity. That's what I believe is powerful.
Mhm. Yeah, well, and you're representing it. I mean, it's clear the way you carry yourself and the confidence and the energy. I'm so grateful that you've been here, Rubina. I'm so happy to know you and to see the work that you're doing, and grateful that women like you are on the planet as way showers.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm really happy to share this conversation with you today.
Okay, ladies, I just want to thank you for joining us. And I hope this conversation inspired you, and all of the Women Awakening conversations inspire you, that they've touched you and encouraged you and reminded you that just you can stand in your own power, that it lives within you, that you came with it encoded. And these stories, these interviews are invitations to awaken your own voice, your vision, your unique gifts in the world. I told you earlier that I work with leaders and teams on emotional integration techniques to help guide them to up level and thrive and expand their authentic presence. And I have a new coach class starting in 26. And I also have a lot of resources for my private community. It's on cynthiajames.net. Please remember to subscribe, share your episodes with women in your life, and leave a review. It really, truly helps. YouTube's Women Awakening with Cynthia James. So until the next time, I just want to invite you to remember to rise, to shine, and awaken to the fullness of who you are. I'm so grateful to walk this path with you. Many blessings.